Welcome to the Tipsy Guest Podcast. I am your host, Marco Buenrostro, and every week I'm here with the top industry experts, amazing clients, and all my vendor BFFs to bring you the best tips, advice, and juicy behind-the-scenes stories to make wedding and event planning a breeze. So grab your favorite drink and let's get this party started! Hey guys, welcome back to the Tipsy Guest. My name is Marco and I am your host. Today I have Kurtis from Two Sapphires. Hello. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. I'm excited to have you here. I absolutely love photography. So today it's going to be a good topic. People ask me all the time if I'm a photographer because of the photo booth business. And I am not a photographer. I'm actually a really bad photographer.
You're photography adjacent, maybe
like whenever I go on my trips and I always travel as a group. Nobody ever is. They don't ask me to take the photos because they know that I'm really bad. So I always have people taking pictures of me and during my trips, but they never ask me because they know I suck at it. So thank you for being here with us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So talk to me. How long have you been a photographer?
Since 2008. How many years that is? Math? I don't know.
I'm horrible
15,
at math.
16,
Don't put me on the spot.
Lots of years. It's been a long time.
Wow. And do you mainly focus on weddings, or do you do corporate? Do you do parties? Like what
I do a bit of everything. Primarily, we focus on weddings, but we've been incorporating a lot more corporate work, events, event headshots, trade shows, all kinds of stuff.
Okay, all right.
We've done anniversary parties, reunions. We do less of like the family portraits and like don't really do newborn and those kind of things. But events really is where it's at for us in general.
Events, yeah, for sure. And then, so when it comes to hiring a photographer, I mean, normally I would think it's because either they saw your work somewhere else, maybe they follow you on social media, I don't know, they've seen your work. How, with you specifically, how do they normally approach you for an event? So
we don't advertise anywhere. We're strictly word of mouth, have been pretty much since the beginning. So usually they've heard through the grapevine, either through a vendor friend of ours that we've worked with a bunch of times, a hotel, a planner, other photographers will refer us sometimes, friends. We get a lot of folks who aren't from San Antonio, for whatever reason, always have. People from Houston and New York and Colorado, they get our information and reach out. Like my wife, I'm not great at keeping up with social media, so I feel like I should. I'm sorry. We will be better tomorrow. Tomorrow is the day.
Social media is where you need to be. Yeah. Like it is
it's
the place to be.
It's so time consuming. I feel like I am of an age where I know how to do it, and I'm competent in the areas I need to be to do it. It's just finding the time. We got 3 kids. Excuses.
I hear you.
We're going to do it tomorrow. This is going to be
the way I see it, like for me, it's the first thing I do in the morning. Like when I wake up, as I'm drinking my coffee, I normally do my social media stuff. Like if you go to my Instagram, you'll notice a pattern that there's always a post between like 8 and 10 a.m. every day. Because that's what I do in the morning. Like I wake up, I do whatever I need to do around the house. Then I'll sit down to drink my coffee, and that's when I go make my post of the day, and then I go interact with other Instagram accounts.
Routine's probably smart, yeah.
Yeah, so once I started doing that, like that to me automatically just, I know that around that time, I'm going to be posting something. And there's also many ways where you can, you can pre-program stuff like that.
Yeah, there's scheduling apps.
Yeah, you can just take 2 hours of your day on a random day and schedule your entire week or month or whatever of content, and then you don't even have to worry about it throughout the month and stuff. I don't do that personally because I like to I'm a control freak when it comes to what I post, so I do it in the moment. Like I'll start looking at things.
Gotcha.
I'm like, I'm gonna post this one today and stuff like that. But anyway, social media is a topic for a different episode. But okay, so when it comes to photography, I mean, I know you guys have a lot of pressure because, I mean, these are the photos that are going to live forever, and people are looking forward to their wedding pictures. How do you deal with that stress?
a long time ago when I first got into photography, and was a professional, the stress was present, and I would have like wedding nightmares. If you talk to any, do you have wedding nightmares ever?
I do all the time.
Okay,
all
so
the time.
after
my dream or my nightmare, sorry, is that I don't get to the event on time, and
okay,
that
yeah.
I miss it completely.
And it's the same. It's always the same dream,
all
right?
The time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had this recurring nightmare that that I that I would be watching a wedding happen. I'm just looking at you get married. And I'm like, wow, this is really beautiful. And I forget that I'm supposed to be taking pictures. I'm just like so caught up in the moment. I'm watching it happen. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm the guy who's shooting this. And that's never happened. But
remember, you're not a guest.
Yeah.
You are there to take their photos.
Yes. So that was a nightmare that I used to have. After about 5 or 6 years doing it full time, that stopped being a thing. I feel like when I'm shooting, I feel like I'm so in the zone, and if you try to get my attention, if you try to call my name or my phone rings or something, I don't even hear it because I'm so like I'm here in my viewfinder and everything else ceases to exist. And that's kind of where I'm the most focused and the most comfortable, I feel like, in those times. I'm in control. I know exactly what I'm doing. So the stress doesn't really exist there for me in that moment anymore. And my clients that hire me, they trust me to shoot. I'm really shooting for myself, honestly, in a lot of ways. And I'm shooting the things that they want, but the specifics of everything it's all self-motivated.
Okay.
And so...
And I mean, you've been
the
doing it for
stress
such a
is
long
not
time
really there,
that you're already used to all the situations. So, for example, what happens if, you have outdoor photos scheduled, or like sunset photos and things like that, and then the weather is just not cooperating? What happens in situations like that?
So, I always say you try to plan the best that you can. So we're very involved from the early stages of planning with timeline. I try to make sure there's padding. I try to foresee that, things happen on a wedding day. Makeup might run late, not if it's my wife, because she's awesome. Something might happen. It rains, whatever. You don't know what's going to happen on a wedding day. That's part of what makes it so fun, honestly, and so interesting to shoot. But you just have to roll with the punches. If I have a kit that I bring to every wedding, it's the same kit always, and I have video lights, I have flashes, I have everything that I could possibly need for any situation that's likely to happen at a wedding. So if we need to shoot photos indoors somewhere, we'll make it work. A lot of our couples are not really super concerned with having a ton of portrait time. They want more time enjoying the wedding day, interacting with guests, having time to like make memories that I'm photographing.
Yeah.
So for me, that comes up less often with like the sunset thing. But we problem solve on the fly. That's part of what you get having someone who's got the experience and can roll with whatever happens. We've had crazy stuff. I don't want to, divulge the crazy stories that I have.
Yeah.
That's like sensitive stuff, but, things happen that are a little crazy sometimes, and we have to roll with it and make it a beautiful story still at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then, so when a couple comes to you, when they reach out to hire you for their wedding, do they normally present a style of photography to you, and they're like, hey, this is what we want? Or do you guys talk about it and then come up with what you're going to end up doing? How do you show them some of your stuff? Or
there's definitely a lot of seeing our stuff. So I don't really get people coming and saying, I want you to emulate this look. I've had maybe a couple times in my career. I've had like, hey, I want a little more of a dark and moody thing or something a little editorial. Actually, do you know Josh Huskin?
Yeah.
So great headshot photographer, great editorial stuff. He was not available for one bride, and he referred me, and they were like, we love your work too. Can we do for our engagement session some stuff that's a little more like Josh-esque? I was like, yeah, let's do some kind of funky, cool stuff. No problem. So I can adapt where needed, but generally couples see, we have a bunch of blog posts. I've got a bunch of full galleries that they go see. So they know what they're going to get ahead of time. And usually the couples who hire me usually want the memories captured more than anything, and flattering portraits and a classic timeless look. So there's not really a style per se that you would overlay on that. They want to hire someone they trust to just do it, and they don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. And is there, I guess, when it comes to me, like with the photo booth stuff, I always tell the couple, it's like, hey, you have a photographer and they're there to take photos of you guys. Those photos are mainly for you as a couple. The photo booth, it's for everyone. People take photos, they get the photos on the spot. But the photographer, it's more for you. Because sometimes they're like, wait, I don't think we need a photo booth because we have a photographer. I'm like, it's a complete different...
Not the same, yeah.
Like, it is completely different. So when you get hired for a wedding, what exactly do you photograph? Is it just the couple and their main activities throughout the night? Or do you also have to capture people? Like, what do you guys agree on when somebody hires you for a wedding?
So again, this isn't usually much of an actual discussion because they've seen our blog posts and our galleries, but since you're probably not familiar with our work watching this, we kind of shoot everything. So our style is, I like to say, timeless, which is overall encompassing editing style, posing, everything. We don't want things to feel forced. We want to bring out the personalities of our couples. Part of telling the story of your day for us is showing the design decisions that you've made, the location. So it starts with getting ready usually, which is we like to be there usually like 3 hours at least before ceremony starts. So we're getting ready stuff. We're getting details of stationery and jewelry and shoes and floral and all those kinds of things, because all those things come together to show the vibe of your event, what it felt like to be there.
Yeah.
It's important for us to capture guests, all these people who you invite to your wedding. Hopefully they're people you love and you care about, and you want to remember them. And, for me, the power of photography is to transport you back to a time that you can't really go back to. And memory fades with time. And so eventually all we're left of some of these people that we love is photos or video. And so I take that very seriously, and I want to capture happy moments. I want to capture laughter. I want to capture tears. I'm careful in the way that we photograph things, especially after my wife and I started working together in 2017. I think my style evolved a little bit and became a little less strictly moment-driven and journalistic in style, and more with an eye for flattering. More of an emphasis on great light and stuff became even more important at that point. We want you to, without being like, this sounds so cheesy, like, oh, it's a fairy tale.
Yeah.
But seriously, but it really is. Like, our wedding day, I look back on ours, it was everything we wanted it to be. We designed it exactly how we wanted to, and I'm so happy with everything. And we can look back at those photos and remember that, and look back at our amazing video that we have.
Yeah.
Our friend Adam Grumbo in Austin is someone you should get on here.
Okay. All right. Making notes.
Amazing videographer, very talented. Honestly, one of the best videographers I've ever worked with, and I was so happy that he was able to shoot our wedding.
Nice. And I was going to ask you, so you don't do video?
We do have a video team, so he does also associate work for us when available. He's pretty busy himself, but when he's available, we'll bring him in. We have someone in San Antonio that we work with sometimes as well. So we have a crew, and we have associate photographers. We're really picky, not just in terms of style, but personality fit and all these other things. So if one of the few people that we know and trust and love to work with locally is not available, and we need like a really big event to have multiple photographers besides just the two of us, I'll fly someone in if I have to.
Yeah. It's your company. It is your work. So
yeah, you get it. It's your baby.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
With me, like every time that I do have a huge event, and I was mentioning in a different episode, I rarely work events myself now. But I'm always present, throughout the process of the booking and stuff like that. But if it's a major event, I always like to be there and have the best team around to make sure that everything goes well. I mean,
and so much of just like the guest interactions and stuff, that's a huge part of it. And in terms of you getting what you need in a photo booth, they need to have fun and feel comfortable.
Yeah.
For people to feel comfortable with us, they have to feel like we're one of them. Like we have to, and that's one of the benefits of being with them so early from getting ready is while we start shooting details when we arrive, it's funny. They're like a little guarded at first. You can see they're like a little shy. And then we're like joking with them and being chill and whatever. And slowly they start opening up. You can see they're comfortable. And that's when you start really getting the good stuff.
And that's when you start capturing like real moments.
Yeah.
Like them having fun.
And the couple's already comfortable with us at that point. Because usually we've shot engagements, bridal session. They've met with us multiple times, but all their friends and family,
they don't know you.
They don't, except like mom and bride are really thrilled we're there, and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna love them," but they're like, "I don't know."
Yeah. So right now that you mentioned, previous like the bridal shower or engagement photos. So when they hire you, is it a package that also includes that, or is it everything is separate?
So we include standard engagement sessions because to us that's very important. That is a chance for us to build rapport with our couple. There's things that we give for tips to help them loosen up and things that like little tweaks for posing that look good on camera. That by the time the wedding day comes around, they just know those things already.
Yeah.
And so it's just old stuff. And typically guys usually are less comfortable being photographed. Sometimes it's the opposite, but usually it's the guys. Mm-hmm. And by the end of an engagement session, they're always like, "Oh, are we done already? Well, can we go get a drink or something? Like, can we do a couple more photos and then go get some shots?" Or
it
whatever.
happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like with me, like I always go back to the photo booth situation because it's somewhat similar.
Yeah.
You see the timeline of photos. First, everybody's like really shy.
Yeah.
But then once they start drinking,
drinks help.
Those photos, oh my goodness, like it gets crazy.
Yeah.
But then the same thing with guys. At first, they're very shy.
Yeah.
And then they just don't want to leave the photo booth. Like they start photobombing other people, and they just want to stay in the photo booth. Like it's so funny and it's weird, but it's true. Like,
do you ever have DJs like, "Bro, stop having such a cool photo booth. Get people on the dance floor"?
Sometimes we do because and that's what I tell brides all the time and couples all the time. They're like, "I don't know if we need a photo booth." I'm like, "Trust me, you do."
Yeah.
Like the photo booth is the entertainment of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, of course, everybody's dancing, everybody's gonna be grabbing drinks,
Yeah.
but they're gonna at one point they're gonna get tired of dancing. They're gonna want to take a break,
Yeah.
and where do they end up? In the photo booth.
Yeah.
It's always the photo booth.
And some people don't want to dance. Either
Exactly.
they're shy or just
some people,
whatever the reason.
Sometimes they just want to chill. They want to, and instead of being outside or
Yeah.
whatever, they end up in the photo booth. And,
Yeah.
and also sometimes also with the bride and the groom, like whenever the couples, they're busy doing things all night, but the
Yeah.
moment they see the couple in the photo booth,
Then
everybody
they are, yeah.
runs to the photo booth. Like like there's a line. It's like a meet and greet.
Yeah.
That's their chance to take fun photos
Yeah.
with the couple. So
I always think photo booth is a great time for the guests. We have fun shooting some candids of that too. Like it's fun shooting what y'all are doing from outside the booth as well.
Yeah, it's always a great time. Which brings me, do you have a drink? Yes, you
I
do have a
do,
drink.
yeah.
Okay, so guys, now this is the tipsy story time because I have a bone to pick with photographers, and not necessarily you. But let's drink to that because I'm gonna let you have it right now. Cheers, guys. Oh my God. So, this is the part of the episode where we get candid about things.
Tell me who hurt you, Marco.
And this is the drama behind closed doors, guys. Okay, so my photo booth setups are always so clean, so pretty, like on point.
I agree.
That's one of my selling points.
Yeah.
That is one of my selling points. I always tell the couples, hey, our photo booth is not going to be an eyesore at your wedding. It's actually going to complement the setup or your decor and everything.
He's not lying, for real.
I'm not lying. But, oh my God, photographers. And again, this is not him, just photographers in general. They always show up with their little cart, with their extra flashes, their extra lighting, their extra everything. And they normally just throw it in a corner next to the photo booth. Like, they make my space look so messy.
I would never, Marco.
I'm like,
So you know.
I have an 8x8 backdrop right here. Hide it behind the backdrop.
They put it in front of your backdrop?
They just put it on the side, like right next to the photo booth. Like in a corner right there.
How Annie Leibovitz.
And then I'm just
show
like,
all the stuff there. Yeah.
I'm like, hide it. Like, people are going to think that this is my mess. And I know it's yours. So, yes, photographers always
and it's
do that.
It's not cool looking equipment. It's like a blue wagon.
Yeah, it's just like, a big cart with a bunch of black duffel bags or so I'm just like, just hide it behind. No, of course, I'm not going to be the one that's going to go touch their stuff and put it behind the backdrop. Because I know how expensive equipment is. Yeah. So I don't want to, risk and break one of their stuff.
Yeah.
But now every time, I'm like, my setup looks so nice, and you just had to come and throw all your shit there. And yeah, so that was my venting session today.
I apologize on behalf of the photography community.
But yeah, so I guess now, that
I don't do that.
That I vented. Do you ever have to deal with anything like that? Have you ever had any issues with any other vendor or even a guest? I mean, there's always drunk people.
I don't often have most people. Maybe I'm just really chill. I don't know. I see a lot of people post stories about like this person did this and it really bugs me. A lot of photographers gripe about videographers being in the way. I feel like at least at the weddings that I work, usually I know the videographer and it's this team approach. I feel like we're all kind of rowing the boat in the same direction. Yeah. We certainly should be. And I think we make each other's work stronger, usually.
Yeah, because you kind of know the angles of, like, to not get on the way of things.
Yeah, well, and also, like, videographers have lighting. I've got lighting. We can deal with more situations with our powers combined. Like, Power Rangers or something. And, it's the only time I've had an issue. This was so long ago. There was, I will say, your videographer should cost as much, maybe more than your photographer. If not, you might have some issues. Mm-hmm. That's when I have had issues, but it's been so long. I had a wedding where a videography company brought 5 people. 3 of them or 4 of them maybe were training.
Oh, okay.
They had at a reception, they had like this giant crane. It was like, dude, this is not...
Is that pretty?
This is not a commercial production.
Yeah.
Like, this is an actual wedding happening. This is not the place for this. And like 3 of these videographers were circling the couple during the whole first dance. Like all 3 of them at the same time in 3 different spots. Like, where am I supposed to get an angle that you're not in?
That's another thing. I guess, like, I've noticed also, like, sometimes, that's why you guys should definitely, do your research when it comes to booking your vendors, especially, like important ones like the photographer. I've noticed I had one wedding one time where the photographer was not wearing any shoes. Like, she was literally barefoot the entire night shooting the wedding.
All right.
I'm like, what are you doing, girl?
That's a choice. Yeah.
Like, everybody's dressed up. Like, why are you not wearing shoes?
That is a big pet peeve of mine.
I hate
that. Always has been. And I think it's one of those things where we owe couples the respect of their day. Like, if there's a lot of people who have been doing this so long that they're jaded and they're tired and whatever, and it's just work. And I think they've forgotten like what the day really is.
Just relax and doing their thing.
You're not at home shooting your cat. So
that's another one.
I think at least wear like dress pants, or if you're a woman, like just dress appropriately, whatever that is. I try to be like the guests, kind of. Like, that's my bar.
Like, you got to fit in with the rest of the party. Like, you don't want to stand out for the wrong reason.
Exactly.
So,
ideally, I want to be hard to find.
Yep.
I don't want to stick out. my wife will often say I'm like a ninja somewhere, which sounds dumb, but she can't find me. She sees me somewhere, and so we try to not be shooting the same thing while we're working. And she'll be like, oh, there he is over there. And then she'll shoot something and look again, and I'm gone. She's like, where'd he go now? Because she wants to make sure she's not in my backgrounds and I'm not in her backgrounds. And But it's partly because I'm dressed like the guests.
Like the rest
So
of
it's
the people
easy
there.
to blend in.
Like that's what we do. You know, we always dress. I always ask. It's part of my part of my
What's your
questionnaire.
attire?
Like, what is the attire? Like, we don't want to be dressed down. We don't want to be overdressed. So we always try to like blend in with the rest of the guest.
Yeah.
But anyway, Kurtis, we are running out of time. Thank you so much for being with us
today. My pleasure.
Today.
Had fun.
I'll definitely have you again. I mean, there's so much to talk. I had a whole list of questions I wouldn't even get to.
That was just the surface.
So we'll definitely have you again. Please tell our listeners where they can find you on social media. Or your website, or phone number, whatever you want to share with them.
Social media eventually will be better at 2sapphires.com, TWOSAPPHIRES.com. It's a mouthful, is where you can find us. We have a lot of blog posts and stuff on there. We're going to try to be better about posting on Instagram and things.
To be better on social media.
Marco's going to start posting our content in the mornings after his coffee.
I'm going to send you a proposal so I can manage your account.
Sounds good. We'll barter or something. I'll help you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much again.
Thank
you guys for listening, for tuning in today. Make sure that you tell your BFFs about the podcast. Again, we are here to help you plan your day. We want to make sure that you have a stress-free planning with all the vendors that we interview each week. And if you have a favorite vendor and they haven't been on the podcast, let us know. Send us a DM, visit our website, let us know who you want on the podcast, and we will make sure to listen. Thank you. Thanks for listening to the Tipsy Guest podcast. If you know someone who could benefit from these tips, spread the love and share it with them. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Next round's on us. Same time, same place. Cheers! This podcast is brought to you by MVP Photo Booth, the #1 photo booth rental company in San Antonio, Austin, and Central Texas.